Well, hey there, gang. It's Jim
and Christie.
Jacobus with Your Marriage Matters podcast number 144. And babe, I'm a little frustrated.
What's going on?
Well, hey, gang. So this is going to be kind of an unusual podcast. We are going to share some things with you today we feel like will help. But Christy and I were having a conversation over the last couple of days. We've been on the road a little bit and had a chance to talk. And I just shared with Christy that I'm a little bit frustrated by the podcast. And that I kind of feel like we're all out here on our own. I'm sound like a whiny baby.
Just a little.
Yeah, just a little bit. Beep, beep, beep. That's the sound of the bus backing over Jim that Christy just threw me under. No, let me be really clear. We've been doing this podcast for a while. We've kind of been off and on with it and everything. And I kind of felt like two things are going on. One is I feel like we can do a better job. Okay. And I'm going to start there. All right. You might notice that this podcast is going to drop on a Friday. We feel like changing the day that it drops is going to help. It's going to give us a little bit more flexibility during the week to get it done and done right. I feel like we need to promote the podcast more. I feel like we need to do a lot of things differently. And I've made a commitment, or we've made a commitment to do this for another 60 days. And reevaluate. And at the end of 60 days, if we don't feel like, or if I don't feel like this is doing any good, or we're not changing anybody's lives, then we're probably just going to pull the plug and move on. But again, first things first is we're taking some responsibility for not doing everything we need to do, and we're going to start doing more of that. So those of you who have subscribed to either the YouTube channel or any of those other different methodologies, we're going to be sending these out every week by email, so you'll get a copy of that. We're going to be posting several times during the week. We're both going to be posting.
That's one of the things I have to take ownership of. I am not one much for self-promotion. And a lot of times, I think two things happen. I don't want them to land at the same time. So I wait. And then before you know it, it slips my mind. But I will to also make a promise that I'll get better at.
Are you promising me or promising them?
Both. It's important in a lot of respects to be held accountable for reasons why things don't go well.
Right.
And in my case, that's one of the things I definitely could do.
Yeah. And so we're calling each other out. We're calling ourselves out to do a better job. And we're going to do everything we can the next 60 days to really promote the podcast and reach as many people as possibly can. Now, we're calling you out too. Our customer, our clients, our friends, our family, all of you out there who do listen to the podcast, we need to hear from you. We need energy from you. We need feedback, whether you're on YouTube or iTunes. We're going to ask everybody to go to the Facebook page, Your Marriage Matters Facebook group. We're going to be adding more resources there. Again, we're going to be doing our part, trust me. But we want you to come to the Facebook group and let us know you're there. Let us know what's going on. Let us know what challenges you run into. And I mean, here's the deal. We know this about marriage is that most of you, again, this is our experience, won't do anything about your marriage proactively unless there's a problem, right? Unless there's some crisis where your marriage is threatened. I mean, that seems to be the only thing that drives people to get help. And we started this podcast, maybe because we wanted to be able to keep people out of your counseling office and out of my divorce care classes to be proactive about building an incredible marriage before that ever happens.
Right. And one of the things too that we probably ought to take some confessions on ourselves. We probably didn't do that all that well too.
Oh, no, for
until
sure.
we became aware of how important it is to make your marriage a priority, to do the things that you know that need to be done that are preventative, and also, you know, just be in touch with the constant pursuit of your spouse.
Yeah, and so I think it's really important here. Again, we're calling you out. Come on, do your part. All right. Oh boy, there's a bunch of people signing off right now, never coming back. But no, we need that from you. We need energy from you guys. We need to know what's going on. We need to help your help in deciding what to do podcasts on and everything. But we did want to do something today that we were talking about again in the midst of all this is what is it about marriage that we need to do, that you need to do, that we all need to do to cause it to be extraordinary? And babe, we had a couple of thoughts about that we wanted to share with everybody today. What do you think people can do out there to be proactive? All right, we're telling them we want you to be proactive. What do you feel like they can do to be more proactive in their marriage?
Well, I think sometimes people get very busy.
Yeah,
Our
for
lives are
real.
running very fast paced, and there's so many conflicting priorities. And so I think for a lot of people, ourselves included, life can get in the way.
Yeah,
Life can get just busy and chaotic, and there's multiple priorities, and you feel the stress of modern day culture that says, you have to do all these great things, have home cooked meals, run a marathon, all this kind of amazing goals, and still do it all and have it all. And sometimes that can leave you feeling a little tired.
yeah,
And maybe you just think, I want something that's comfortable. And so I think one of the things that we need to do is just to invest in ourselves
right.
individually, and invest in our couple relationship, because it's amazing how time goes by so fast.
Yeah,
And
we're
if
well aware of that nowadays, aren't we?
exactly. And if we don't do something in the present to make things a priority and to make our marriage, that it's easy to kind of see things start to slip away
Yeah,
where you're going in parallel lives. So I think one of the things that you can do to be more proactive and to make this a priority is just to commit to it.
yeah.
Write it down, make it a goal, do things together, go on date nights, listen to podcasts together, and just share ideas.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, yeah, and again, we talked about that yesterday. We were kind of picking apart what is it about this lifestyle that's working so well for us. And I was at Keller Williams Southwest office yesterday and visiting with lots of friends. And you and I both have heard a number of folks tell us over the last couple of months that they've never seen us look happier, more content, healthier. And Robbie Jansky asked me, "Go, so why? What's the source of all that?" And Robbie always asks great questions. And you and I were talking about it yesterday. When before we started doing this, we had what I would say is a great marriage.
Mm-hmm.
You know, uh, but it's better. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's measurably better, significantly better. And part of that was is you were busy with work, you were busy with community, you were busy with this. I was busy with this. I was busy playing racquetball, and we had a great relationship, but we weren't busy about each other.
Mm-hmm.
To the extent that we are now. I mean, we're in 430 square feet every day with each other, and it has driven us closer together. And I think part of that is because this has become a shared vision of ours.
Mm-hmm.
And gang, we've talked about shared vision in a lot of other podcasts and how important it is, but I think that is one of the driving forces behind why everything is going as well as it is. It's the whole idea that we have this shared vision now of this life that we're living, this lifestyle, all the things that come with it. Now, not everybody can go live in an RV. It's never what we proposed. We tell people all the time, this life is not for everybody, but it works well for us. But there is a version of this for you. All right. There is a shared vision for your marriage. And we were talking as we were getting ready for this, babe. Every couple that we know that we would say is a great marriage, that
Mm-hmm.
we would want to model our marriage after, has some kind of shared vision.
Mm-hmm.
And I think about the Hartmans with all the kids they adopted. I think about the Barnhills with Barnhill and Associates Counseling Center. I think about the Ingrams living out in the country together, kind of a version of this, the Klubnicks, who I don't think I've ever seen John and Tiffany look so happy and their kids
Mm-hmm.
look so happy. I mean, everybody that we see has this amazing relationship. They have something at the center of it that drives them together. And then everything else flows outside of that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they still have lives, they still have community, they still have racquetball and fill in the blanks, but that came first, or that comes first. I mean, does that make sense to you? I mean, I know we talked about it. Where do you come down on that?
Well, I think within each relationship, we've got to decide for ourselves. There can be people that we role model after, but for us, what matters,
Right.
what matters the most. And for a lot of people who are listening to the podcast, they're in the midst of raising kids, and maybe their goal is to have well-rounded, secure individuals.
Maybe that's a shared vision.
And that's what they're going to need to do. And one of the things I think that people fail to mention in the rushing to little league games and baseball practices and school plays and functions and all that, you can still make your marriage and your family a priority.
Yeah.
It can just get, you can get so busy in the activities that you lose sight of the big picture and the
Yeah.
goal. So shared vision is raising wonderful kids and everything. But one of the ways that we raise wonderful kids is to be a role model for them for how to have a happy, healthy marriage.
Yeah. I was just thinking there, as you were saying that, there are all kinds of seasons of life and everything where there are different driving forces. But one of the things I remember from Keller Williams was the purpose of business is to fund the life you desire.
Mm-hmm.
And so if the purpose of business becomes building a business, then I think we're going down the wrong road. If the purpose of fill in the blank is to fill in the blank, I think we're going down the wrong road. But if the purpose of your career is to fund the life, that shared vision that you and your spouse have or your partner have, then I think that business is amazing. So all of these things that we're talking about that can take us away from what the main thing is, what God intended our marriage to be, is this incredible union where we experience the kind of unconditional love that God had for us, and that we need to learn how to live that love out. And, we're not there yet. We're working on it. But that is our intention. That is our focus. And this shared vision has driven us to that place. And maybe, babe, that's why we're on this trip. We're on this journey we're on, is so that we could understand God's intention for this shared vision, for the shared life together, so we could share it with others. I don't know.
Well, and I thought of this the other day, because when we were talking about this, we set out our vision for this whole ministry, if you will, was to make a difference in the lives of marriages, starting with our own. And if we know that our work isn't in vain, and that there are values coming from this, I think that would be the most important thing. So it kind of goes back to what you said. I think if we knew what people needed, because we might think it's one thing, and good education and teaching plans always start with an assessment of your learner's needs.
Yeah.
So if there's anything out there that you think you're struggling with or you'd need help with, you're probably not in that boat by yourself.
No,
so
sure.
If there's resources we could provide for you, I'm a psychology nerd and I love Psychology Today and some of the resources I have available. So please let us know.
Yeah.
We will make the commitment to increase our goals for the podcast, increase our goals for the resources that we'll make available to people. And we want to do that because I think it matters.
Yeah.
We think, and we keep saying this is our tagline, your marriage matters. And so if you'll help us to get some information on what we could do and provide to make sure that we're hitting on necessary resources, that would be awesome.
And so first thing, gang, we're calling ourselves out. We got to do a better job. We're going
indeed.
And we're calling you out too, because we need for you to come and join us in this. So go to the Facebook group, Your Marriage Matters, on Facebook. If you're not on Facebook, comment in the comment section on YouTube, wherever you're at. Let us know that you're there. Subscribe so that we can send these out to you every week, and make sure you get them in your inbox. We're never going to spam you. That's not what we do. But like Christie said, we're doing this, and we're making a commitment to it, because your marriage does matter. It matters to you. It matters to your family, your community. It matters in so many different ways. And we want to make sure that you experience everything that you dreamed of, that God had planned for you when you walked down that aisle and you said, I do, to each other. So can't think of anybody better to be called out with and by than Christie here. We love you guys. We appreciate you. And babe, I absolutely adore you. Appreciate all your hard work. I'm calling you out.
Calling you out.
You guys have a great week. Take care.